Cats have long been associated with the ability to sense unseen forces, from evil spirits to bad presences. And while your kitty might not be hunting ghosts around your home, you've probably noticed their almost supernatural talent for detecting when a seemingly ordinary person is actually bad news. Many cat parents have experienced it. Someone who appears lovely at first but gets an immediate cold shoulder from their cat, only for that person's true colors to show later on. Sure, sometimes cats just take a random dislike to people for their own mysterious reasons, but there are times when their reaction is their way of protecting you from harm. So what's behind this feline sixth sense? Are the old stories true? Are our cats just magic after all? Not quite. There are actually scientific reasons why your cat can sense a person's true intentions. In this video, we'll reveal 6 powerful ways your cat can detect whether the people around you are good or bad. From sensing hidden emotions to reading subtle body language, your cat has your back when others don't. Number 1. The sixth sense. Mind reading, as depicted in fantasy and sci-fi films, might be a myth, but there are other ways to detect what a person is thinking. Scientists can study the human brain using MRI machines, which will let them know which parts of it light up under a scan, and thus give some indication as to what the person is thinking. But our kitties have a much simpler method. When you have an emotional response, your body releases chemicals called hormones. Small amounts of these hormones then leach out in your sweat. Don't worry, they're not detectable to humans, but they are detectable to your cat. This means that when you're having a chat with your best frenemy and you tell them about your oncoming breakup and they seem sympathetic, your fur baby can smell that they're secretly pleased. Nobody will be stabbing you in the back when your kitty is on the case. Number 2. Bringing it back to the body. You might have noticed that your kitty has a tendency to respond to what you're thinking and feeling before you've even processed it yourself. You start feeling a bit sad, and your fur baby is already on your lap, trying to make you feel better. You get the first inkling of an urge to get out the cat treats, and your kitty is already standing by the cupboard, yowling for you to get on with it. That's because, just like how a human naturalist might learn all sorts of things about the communication methods of the animals that they choose to observe, your fur baby is an expert on the body language and communication of the human species. You might call them a regular David Cat Attenborough. A 2012 study that looked at how cats respond to body language showed that they change their behavior in response to the body language of the humans around them. A human who means you ill might be trying to hide their body language from you, but they won't necessarily think to do the same around your kitty. Your cat will know if somebody is up to no good and will try their best to ensure that you don't get taken advantage of, even if all they can do is try and warn you with their own body language by making their dislike of the person known. Number 3. Face value. Body language isn't the only thing your kitty might pick up on. Your fur baby can also recognize facial expressions. A 2016 study showed cats photographs of human faces with different expressions and recorded their reactions. The cats showed noticeably different reactions depending on the facial expression being shown in the photos. You might miss snide expressions or faces pulled behind your back, but they can't hide from your cat. Your kitty will notice that the person's expression is negative and that it is directed towards you, and they'll respond accordingly. This actually makes some sense, as cats do have a few facial expressions of their own. But while they only have 276 distinct expressions, which already sounds like a lot, we know, we humans have a whopping 10,000 at our disposal, and yet somehow your clever Clogs cat will remember them all and respond accordingly. Number 4. What they don't say. As well as how humans look, our kitties also pay attention to how we sound. Studies show that cats can pick up on the voices of specific people, especially their owners, and can distinguish between different tones of voice and the emotions that they indicate. Interestingly, they're especially responsive to baby talk, but they can also pick up on negative tones. Ever have somebody say something to you that sounds completely innocuous, but their tone of voice lets you know that they don't entirely mean what they're saying? You might doubt that you heard right, but your cat won't. They know when somebody isn't talking to their human in a nice way and will respond accordingly. As far as your cat's concerned, if somebody doesn't have anything nice to say to you, then they shouldn't say anything at all. Number 5. Moggy memory. They say that an elephant never forgets, but they're not the only ones. Your kitty has a pretty good memory as well, especially for people who they don't like. Cats have a very good associative memory, meaning that they can easily attach specific emotions to specific memories. Incidentally, this is why your fur baby tends to freak out whenever they see you bringing out their cat carrier. They remember that the sight of the cat carrier means a trip to the vet, and they react accordingly. So if your cat seems to be acting strangely around a person, and especially if they seem uncharacteristically aggressive or fearful around them compared to how they are around other people, then that can be a sign that they may have a reason to be upset with that person. People who have ill intentions will often hide their true nature around other humans, but will then let loose around cats, who they may wrongfully believe to be incapable of telling anyone. They might secretly speak sharply to your cat, or even hurt them when you're not in the room, and your fur baby's only way to let you know that something is amiss is to do what they can to scare the awful person away. Number 6. Breaking boundaries. Sometimes a person might not intend to hurt a cat, just as they might not intend to hurt you, but their inability to understand what kind of behavior is appropriate can cause them to hurt people anyway. These people often don't like cats. Cats are very clear about what kind of behavior they'll accept from other people and can on occasion make their feelings known very clearly, with teeth and claws if necessary. Unlike dogs, who are much more willing to put up with people who disregard their boundaries, cats have a very independent spirit. People who dislike cats, and especially people who complain about being scratched or bitten whenever they interact with them, often have difficulty respecting boundaries, both with humans and with animals. Your cat might show their dislike to this person for a completely valid reason, and recognizing that they are standing up for their rights might prompt you to consider what you're putting up with in your own friendship with this person, and whether your own boundaries are being respected. In some ways, if we all lived our lives like cats do, then we'd all be happier. Cats are confident and open with their feelings. If they don't like somebody, then they make it clear, and if they do like somebody, then they make it equally clear. Of course, the person most likely to get your fur baby's attention is you, and there are all sorts of ways that they can show you that they care. For example, check out this video to find out surprising reasons why your kitty chooses to curl up next to you when it's time for them to sleep, ignoring all other people.